Okay, today's video is going to cover some projects that happened in the late part of summer, early part of fall of 2024. So what we're doing is going to install some water lines for irrigation and stock water, and uh, we're trying to get this ready. This 24 season's pretty well already over at this point, but we're trying to get things ready for the 2025 spring season. Now, these first couple of clips are sped up from normal speed. What we were showing here, this is Henry on the backhoe. We've got it hooked onto my brother's Ferguson tractor, and he's digging to make the connection between the first frost-free hydrant that we put in and the city water line at our house. So there was already a T in the line coming from the house from a previous connection that we had already disconnected. We weren't using anymore. So basically we're just digging up until we find where that T is, and we're going to splice in right there. We're going to install a pressure regulator and a cutoff and one of those little meter wells that has the cover on it so that we can access that cutoff and that pressure regulator also. So again, this is just Henry using the backhoe and digging to make that connection. We had to go between a couple of buildings here, outbuildings, and it was just easier to do it with the backhoe. The majority of the water line was actually run with a walk behind trencher. So it was I believe it was a Ditch Witch brand walk behind, um, and it worked very well, and it does a lot less damage than the backhoe as far as uh, making the ditch that's easier to backfill. You know, there's just not as much disturbance and surface, and we did have to go through uh, one edge of a hayfield, and so we just didn't want to tear it up too bad. And that machine was fairly inexpensive to rent. I think it only cost me maybe $300 for a weekend or something to rent the machine, and it did a good job for me. So uh, there's the two buildings that we had to go between. Now the first hydrant is going to be right down at the pasture, the fence there, and it's not a stock tank or anything. It's just a hydrant, and we just use a portable stock tank because we want to move it around different locations and things. So we're going the first part down to there, and then it ties in with the ditching machine uh, ditch. And at the end of the video, then we're going to show you one of the hydrants that we installed down by the garden for the irrigation. All right, clear that. Should be off down there. Yeah, because we didn't turn it off at the house. Now don't throw it back in this part of the tunnel either. There's some clods right there. All right. Now, cut it sort of right in the center there of the all right. Let me go get your tea.
dirt in that pipe, was it?
There's some.
All right. Now cut off you.
And where the hydrant be, on this side or this side?
Well, cut it a little bit long. You can trim it again. Okay. Now put this together here.
I don't know if we're gonna have enough clips.
Put the band on first, huh?
You go that way. Like, no, you gotta. You right there.
Okay.
Now,
Now
is
you
this
gotta
what we're going to video?
put this other one on. No, not yet.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So now take it and hold it right there. All right, what we're doing out here is installing a couple of these frost-free hydrants for irrigation. The garden, the corn patch was over here this year in this field, other side of the pickup truck. But next year that's going to be the garden, and so we need some irrigation for there. I've got some water lines run, and we're going to put in a couple of hydrants spaced out along the length of this field here. And I just thought I'd show a little bit about how I put these in. So you can see right here where my little reflector is. We're using a PEX tubing, and the main line is the straight line right here. And we've got us a T fitting, and off of that T it comes over here to the hydrant. Now there's a special little fitting down here. It's a bronze fitting that PEX attaches to, and it threads into the bottom of this hydrant. And the concrete blocks are here. I've got some solid concrete blocks, and I broke one to give me a little bit of space for the water line to run between. And then I've got this solid one here. Now this block is a 16-inch block, and it's 2 inches thick. And my backhoe bucket just happens to be 16 inches. So that fits in here pretty nice. And the reason for the block right here is because we need to put gravel around the base of this valve, because that's what keeps these from freezing. When you turn it on, the valve is not actually here in the head. The valve is all the way down here in the bottom, below the frost line. And when you shut the handle back off, it opens a drain hole, and all the water that's in this standpipe right here will drain back out, and it needs somewhere to go. So you have to have gravel down in around the base of these, up above the level of that drain hole, so that that water has a place to flow into. And so that's why I like to put this concrete block set up like I have here, is it helps to contain the gravel that I'm going to pour in, and that gives me like a 2 cubic foot area of rock, for that water to have somewhere to go down here. And also, I'll pull this to the side just a second. You see this T-post right here. So we've drove this T-post down into the bottom of the trench, and we've oriented it so that this corner right here sort of cradles the standpipe on the hydrant. And once we get it all installed and backfilled, we'll put a stainless steel hose clamp around this, and that'll help give it some support so that it doesn't, it doesn't move around as much. So now, Henry, need 2 bags in here. And the gravel I'm using right here, this is just the Quickcrete all-purpose gravel from Lowe's. It's expensive to buy it this way, but when you're just doing this 2 cubic foot, it's not worth me going and getting the dump trailer or whatever and getting a load of gravel just for this. I mean, there's 4 cubic feet, so I've got 4 bags right here to do these 2 hydrants. It would be better if this was a little bit coarser gravel. The coarser the rock would give me a better, more gaps between for the water to flow, but this will be okay. Now put it right here, right around the pipe there. Don't spill it. Go on, put it in there. Put it in there. There you go. Now, we can put the other sack in and we'll stir it around.
Yeah, I got this one. It's got a hole in it.
All right. Okay. Now don't knock no dirt in that.
I'm trying to.
Yeah, but you're not succeeding. I don't want dirt in the rock. Push more of it back this way. No, the other way. There you go. All the way back to that concrete block. All right, that's fine. Level it off a little bit. It should be good. Okay. So now you can see how the concrete block just kind of serves as a little temporary wall to hold this gravel in place. And then when we backfill, the dirt will be against this side, and that will offer me some separation between the drainage well and the backfill.